Okay, welcome everyone. We are hosting today the Future of Tattoo Conventions panel, and thank you all for joining us at this live panel about the future of tattoo conventions. As we all know, the COVID-19 pandemic is having an incredibly severe impact on the entire world. And so far, there have been over 4.5 million cases all over the world. It claimed over 300,000 lives. And a lot of industries have been impacted pretty badly, and especially the tattoo industry, and in particular the tattoo conventions industry. This weekend will be the 9th weekend without any tattoo convention anywhere in the world, and that it didn't happen before in the last 10, 20 years probably. And in the last few weeks, I've been contacted by a lot of organizers asking me for suggestions on what to do. And it's extremely difficult to decide what to do in terms of holding a tattoo convention or not within a reality situation that none of us has ever experienced before. So by discussing the situation with Gabe, we thought it may be a good idea to explore what's really going on in different countries, so that we could hopefully be able to clarify some of the most pressing doubts on the best decisions to take. And so we'll try to do this with the help of some tattoo events organizers that we have here today. So the first one is actually Gabe Ripley, which is also the co-host of this panel, and he organized the Paradise Tattoo Gathering in US, and he's also the owner of the TattooNOW.com website. Then we have Durb Morrison from Health City, United States. There you go. We've got Stefano Alcantara, which is representing the Empire State in New York.
How you doing?
We got Samir. There you go. We got Samir Patange from India and the Heartwork Tattoo Convention. We got Gideon, Schory or Schory, Gideon from Amsterdam Tattoo Convention, and we got, last but not least, Savage from the Philippines, from the Savage Tattoo Convention. By the way, I'm Alex from Dutch, and I've been running water events for the last 10 years. And now, thanks to the pandemic, I'm practically unemployed. So you're gonna see what's gonna happen next.
Well, this is a tattoo event.
This will probably be the new type of tattoo convention. All right, so it's gonna be online. So yeah, I mean, getting started to what we want to discuss here today, I have a few questions to all the guests here, and I would like to start from Gideon, which is hosting a convention still planned for September in Amsterdam. Gideon has been doing something very interesting last few days because he has been trying to engage both his artists and public on what is the best thing to do. So he really asked, like, guys, do you still feel to come this year or not? And I think, Gideon, you can maybe explain what exactly happened.
We have been approaching all of the standholders, the participants, and giving them two options. One was we see everyone on 25th of September with the reality at the moment in the Netherlands, which is restrictions, social distancing, no public transport capacities, no flights to the Netherlands, and we have to wait to 2nd of September to see if the government will permit public events or not. Second option was to play safe and to move to next year. 95% of the participants have been requesting to move to 2021. And yesterday we've been doing the same for visitors or followers on the Facebook and Instagram of the Amsterdam Convention. until now, most of the reactions is to play safe 2021. Now, there is something that no one knows about the virus. Dangerous, not nature, not nature, fake news. What I know as a person, I'm not going in a closed location with hundreds of persons. You will pay me and I will not enter a train now. So we don't know what will happen tomorrow, but we have responsibility. And the responsibility as an organizer is if we can put together big quantity of artists, of visitors on a responsible way in a closed location. No one has an answer to that, so we have to follow our feelings. And every one of us is losing money. The hall, the promotion, reserved rooms, flights, whatever, but it's just money. So we have to see what is best for the tattoo to survive. And I don't know what is wise to do. The wiser thing is to wait. So no rush with that. And Tuesday we are going to take a decision here to talk again with the Dutch Health Board, which cannot advise us. I don't know with what. Maybe 1 year without, it's good, and everyone can stay safe. Amsterdam is 80% traveling artists. They cannot fly in. If they will fly, they will not find an hotel.
Yeah, how about the
If they
hotels?
will
Because
find-
those are closed as well.
If they will
In
find an hotel, they will have to enter a taxi without knowing who was before in the taxi. So it's a airborne virus. Scary. It's a dangerous. Why? Because you hear this is helping, this is not helping. We have a vaccine, we don't have a vaccine. We have to give things time to put things in place. And to come also with this message to our audience, to our publics, we are playing safe like Tattoo is doing always. It's not short distance runners, long distance. We want to be here tomorrow and next year. And I think that this is the message. Also, even if the government is allowing studios to open, think about yourself. You don't know who is coming in your studio. You don't know he came with a public transportation or not. He just landed at the airport. I've seen pictures from New York. They promised that they will keep the middle seat empty. Everything is full like in the past. So protect yourself. Play safe. And
That's a good message, Gideon.
Yeah.
everyone is losing money, but it's just money. It's not life.
Money come and goes. This
Yeah,
time is
for
good,
sure.
but it will be
Health
back.
over wealth.
Yeah.
Yes,
Health over wealth.
exactly. And I think this is a good message that we can send from the entire tattoo industry. I mean, like that we're responsible people.
Yeah, we want to be here tomorrow, and we want to, in 5 years, to keep organizing.
Right.
And for example, Sweden was not making shutdown. They have the same percentage of lose, not commercial-wise, but while in Germany, in Holland, the figures are getting smaller, the curve is lower. In Sweden, it's going. So we don't know who was smart. If you get offered for commercial reasons, to do everything normal, protect yourself, think good. The science, the doctors, all of the smart people don't know what and how and why.
Yes.
Time is good. Time is
And
healing.
Gideon, for the time being, like all events in Holland are also like postponed to next year, if I'm not wrong, right? There is not a single event going.
Till 1st of September, no. Like always, the money generating events like football, like soccer, they've been putting a lot of pressure without success. They will be,
Right.
permitted to play without audience.
Without
Right?
yeah.
It's a big money. It's a big money, and money is more important than life. So let's show the world that tattoo is serious.
Definitely. And hearing Gideon talk about that too. And the thing is with a lot of these conventions, we see the same, it's the tattoo family. We see a lot of the same people, a lot of the same friends and artists and stuff like that. And with listening to Gideon too, it's the safety of our crowd, but it's the safety of our tattoo community too. And the artists that we see at the next conventions and things like that too. So yeah, the safety is definitely about the crowd, but it's also about our community of the people that travel to these other conventions and stuff too.
Without the community,
that is very
no
true.
convention.
Yeah.
I agree.
No, at the end of the day, it's all about people. And Durb, how about you in Ohio? Like you decided quite early, flat out, to postpone everything to next year. And my question is, like, what did drive you to take this decision early on? Let's say compared to a lot of other conventions.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was one of the first ones to publicly be like, no. Hell
Yes,
City,
exactly.
and
I remember that, so that's why.
It was originally the Hell City, Ohio show, just because I was, realistically, I was like, man, there's too much PTSD, too many people are afraid. And like Gideon says, it's just not safe at that time to even try to have a crowd or even try to figure out how to have a crowd at your convention. The smartest and safest thing to do is to postpone your show. Now, I went all the way out to August already because I feel the same thing, that there's going to be a lot of fear. And us as convention promoters, we know how much energy goes into it, how much money goes into it, how much just overall blood, sweat, and tears go into it. And I didn't really want to even move forward knowing that the efforts wouldn't, be reciprocated, or if we had a crowd of 100 people, and I think that would set more of a message too. If somebody tried to do a convention, there was only like 100 people there. So, I made the decision all the way to August for the safety of myself, my family, the community, and the crowd. And honestly, like we had a discussion the other day of like, how do you keep a convention safe right now? How do you keep any of these public, gatherings safe? If you put everybody 6 feet apart at the main stage, you're gonna have like 30 people up there. So the reason I canceled Hell City in Ohio was obvious because the lockdown and social distancing and all that. In August, I still think it's going to be too soon. Like I'm telling people, 2020 is canceled. Focus on other things, focus on your family and your art, focus on your business. We were so close. I mean, dude, we canceled Hell City, Ohio. We were done. All the booths were sold. I think we had like a few things left to do. I was about a week from going into like a chill mode and just promoting and advertising it. All the organization was done.
And at that point, you pull it off.
Yeah. So we just decided, and here's the deciding factor too, is the Hyatt and the Biltmore that we work with, they were willing to be like, yeah, you're in a bad situation. We'll honor your deposits and everything, along with Pipe and Drape, the magazines, all that. Everybody's kind of crediting us because we're all under the understanding this is out of our control, but we as the community have an opportunity to control it within our industry. And I think part of that is not putting on conventions right now until the whole industry's safe, to set the example.
Hey, Durb, real quick, if you could just back up a little. When you get really excited, you go off camera.
Oh, okay. Move too much.
Either tilt up or go back a little because you're on your forehead.
Oh, all right. There we go.
Yeah, just not bad.
Is it all right? This is good. But no, I think that the safety factor, like Gideon's talking about, is the biggest thing, and it's for the public, but it's also for our industry, the people that we're going to see when we are able to go back to conventions. We're going to be able to see each other and hug and fist bump. And,
That's gonna be a big party.
I don't know about the hugs, but
yeah,
the first one
a 6 foot hug, air hugs.
But no, and this is the part I found interesting from your decision because I saw some other shows, for example, moving conventions from April till August or September, and then they had to postpone it again. You know,
wasn't
so
wanting to even play that
yeah,
game.
no, exactly. You were like, okay, that's it for this year.
Pretty much, yeah. You
yeah.
know, and I think it's hopefully it's set an example for other shows. You know,
Yeah.
Who knows though? I mean, are we going to go back into a lockdown where they push us back even more? So that's where I didn't even try to redo the dates for any time this year. I figure by next April, we'll have a grasp on, like more information, like Gideon's saying. They don't know everything about it yet.
I don't know. Yeah. How about the government in your state? Because I see, like in the US, a lot of states are taking decisions by their own, right? Not on a federal level, but on a state level. And what's your situation?
Yeah, well, it's funny you ask that because we've been pushing here to reopen tattooing in Ohio.
Right.
There's mixed feelings about it. We all have mixed emotions about it. But we know that, like I was saying, is we're all trained in bloodborne pathogens, cross-contamination prevention, more so than a lot of these companies and industries are going to have to learn all this stuff. We've been doing this. I mean, I've been learning cross-contamination and bloodborne pathogens since I was like 17 years old, since I started tattooing. Right. So I think that we're an industry that's a leader in that, along with the medical industry, as far as cross-contamination and being safe. So we have an understanding. We're all going to have to get trained in airborne pathogens now, obviously.
Yes.
There's an understanding for that. And, that's going to be part of the certificates that I'm going to require at Hell City. I want to see that you have airborne, pathogens and stuff like that.
For next year. For next year, you already set the dates, right?
Yeah.
For tentative dates. How's the situation? How do you see it?
I mean, I think by next year we're gonna be able to confidently talk about our conventions. Let's talk about this. Our conventions at that time is going to be a booth, empty space, booth, empty space.
Oh, wow.
Can we even walk into our friends' booths anymore to see what they're working on? Because then you're putting yourself close to their client. So there's a lot of, we're even talking about that because Red Tree Tattoo Gallery is opening today. Tattooing opens in Ohio. When I leave here, I go straight to my studio and it's our first day open again.
Wow. After how long?
2 months.
Wow, man. So today you'll have a lot to do.
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy, but I've been in there also the last 2 months implementing new things. Sanitation areas in every room, new entrance procedures, plexiglass walls. We're trying to set the example. So that's stuff that when we all come back into doing our conventions, that's what we're going to do. We're going to implement all these new things that we're doing in the studio. And I think we'll have enough time by then to think of new ways to keep our crowd safe.
Yeah, you do it on a larger scale in a convention. So right now you're experimenting basically, for about all the new rules. But from a government perspective, do you guys have any restriction in terms of events in your state yet? That's what I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, live like mass gatherings still can't go on. No concerts, all the obvious things. A tattoo studio, and I don't want to say that street shops are going to have a little bit more difficulty, but right now the recommendation is appointment only, consultation only. And a lot of what it's coming down to is communication with your client beforehand and even after. Like, how you healing? How are you feeling? Those are the two questions after nowadays. And that's going to go on to conventions too. The clients that get tattooed there, the people are going to need to remember that client, stay in communication with who they tattooed at these conventions, because you're going to need to, make others aware and stuff like that. So there are no mass gatherings. But as far as tattoo studios, with us opening today, a lot of the procedures are online release forms, pre-consultations before they even come in. And then I'm telling my artists, we met yesterday, and a lot of it is the entrance procedures and protocols as far as sanitizing, mask on, wipe your phone down. You got a backpack, put it in your car, bring your phone in. And then containment. A lot of it is containment with your client after that. They get in the door. I'm asking my artists to meet them, take them directly to the booth and contain them. We separated our restrooms from artists to clients. And it's going to be things like that. at conventions. What we're doing in our studios, all of us now, are going to be things that we're going to have to do to the convention. Is like you might have to meet your client at the door and walk them directly to your booth, so they're not walking the aisles. I don't know. I mean, it's things like that could.
So, but the fun factor is gonna go away like that. I mean,
yeah, wait in line.
It looks like you go into a hospital, basically. You know, that's your room. That's the
But, I mean, right now we can all speak off of the knowledge that we have as far as cross contamination and what we've been doing in our studios. As far as the future and the way the states and counties handle things,
yeah,
that's up to us to educate them. And that's kind of what we did with that protest we were getting ready to do. And then all of a sudden we're like, we have attention on us and we're allowed to open. But
it's a reverse education, actually. It's like you got to educate the institutions, basically.
Yeah,
this is what
exactly.
It's like.
Because they're not trained. Like go in Joanne Fabrics. You think any of them know cross contamination prevention?
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
We are, the tattoo industry is one of the leaders in all that, and we have an understanding too of cross contamination bloodborne. We could all understand airborne just as easily.
Yes.
This is very easy to catch. It's very dangerous. So
your mindset is already there. It's already prepared.
Yeah,
which is very different.
No shortcuts. You can't take your mask off around your client for one. Like you can't slip up at these times when we're all trying to get back. You can't be like, "Yeah, it's cool, man. We've been around." No, keep your mask on. I wouldn't even let my artist in the shop yesterday for the training course that we did yesterday without a mask.
Oh wow! Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Even my artist, I got to set the example. So
you gotta say, it's like Trump going out to mask factories without a mask.
Yeah, exactly. Set the example. Be the leader.
Hey, and let's switch part of the world. Samir, how about India? You guys initially thought you could do another edition of the Heartwork in December this year, but then what happened?
Well, I to be very honest, even though we're way back in to end of the year, but I still had a feeling that even if we decide to do it this year, there are several questions that need to be answered. There are several questions like how many people are going to be actually willing to travel, how many people are actually going to be, how many artists are going to be willing to travel, besides how many conventions are going to support us, or how many conventions are actually even going to happen before us. So why not have a look at the scenario and then decide what needs to be done. But I'm still of the opinion that we should probably just let it be and not take a chance this year, because there are lots of things that are need. The goddamn global sanitization needs to happen. It's not just countries.
I like that.
It's not just fucking
global sanitation.
It's everything needs to be done, and there is so much that we need to still learn, because everyone's clueless. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen the day after. The authorities are taking decisions and making decisions on an everyday basis. So things are changing. Things are changing even before we know, or even before we think about them. So, I'm still of the opinion that might as well not do it this year and probably push it to next year and play it safe, like Gideon was saying.
Yeah.
So,
I have a question for you. The numbers in India regarding the people which are sick and dead, the death rate is like very low.
Right.
I mean, you guys have like something like 80,000 people sick and only 2,000 people dead or something. So it's a very, very low death rate compared to a lot of other countries. How is it possible?
No, it's not 2,000. I think we've gone up. We've gone up quite a bit now. I think
2,700. Something like that.
It's 3,000 something is what I had heard probably.
Okay, well, that probably could be that probably raised a little bit. But my point is,
how are the numbers varying so much?
Yes.
Okay. So
I mean, how
there are quite a few states which aren't disclosing the exact numbers. There are quite a few states which aren't cooperating with the authorities and things like those. So that kind of shit keeps going down, and probably with that we don't really have the exact numbers. But yes, we have been contained pretty well, because I think we did lockdowns pretty early in time, and that's kind of paid off if you go think about it.
Yeah.
And yeah, there were a few goof ups that happened, and that's kind of given rise to the numbers and affected as well. So that's probably the reason why the infected are higher and the death rates slightly lower, because yeah, they've been decently handled right now.
Well, yeah, you probably have like, I mean, I was thinking a little bit about that because I mean, you see a lot of other countries which are really, especially like in Europe, they're like really badly affected, even though they have like modern healthcare systems and everything else. And then you go like in countries, for example, right now I'm in Vietnam, and here we only have like we only had 280 cases since the beginning of the pandemic, and no deaths at all. And you question if this is real or not, but apparently it's really going their way. So, like I'm very surprised about some countries which are able to contain it. And my point is, when it comes down to events, for example, like some countries are able to contain the virus somewhere. And, we've been debating the fact that if some countries are able to control the virus, maybe some events will be possible, like on a smaller scale, only with local tattoo artists eventually. I mean, you can't do the borders here, for example, are still closed. I see pretty much the same situation also in India. So somehow it looks like pretty optimistic to me.
Like I look at it, I don't think a lot of Indians are very pessimistic. To be very honest with you, we don't like to take our chances. We like to play it safe. And in this kind of a situation where we have been here we are seeing this situation for the first time in our lives. And I think with a situation like this, it's the safest and the best to not haste into things and probably mess it up for yourself, your families, and for the people who are going to be visiting. And if you ask me to visit conventions this year, I'm going to be a straight off no. Like if you're going to be paying me money, I'm going to be no. I'm not going to take the chances with the airports. I'm not going to take chances with the aircrafts, and so many hours in an enclosed closure. So this year doesn't seem likely possible for anybody, for me.
Okay.
And with events, I see the same. I think big gatherings, mass gatherings, music events, social gatherings, I don't think they're really going to happen this year as such.
Okay. So then the question, Stefano, comes down to you. Talking about the New York Empire State. As far as we know right now, the convention is still on, right? Despite the fact that the state of New York is one of the worst affected by the virus.
For sure.
So, what's your feedback on that? I mean, how's the situation in New York?
Yeah, actually, it's a technical way. That's why it's still, they say still up, because we think the same as you guys, exactly the same. I think the best is to push it to next year. We have a date for next year that is gonna be July 23rd, 24th, and 25th. That's the best scenario, because our only the only way the only reason why we didn't say postpone, because by contract with the Hilton, imagine I was talking with you guys earlier about this, and
Yeah.
if for example, like on 1 week before, they say it's allowed to create an event, even if it's 100 people, while we were talking whatever, we have the date no matter what, and they're gonna charge us the room. Exactly. They don't allow us to change because it's booked the rest, so we're not allowed to cancel the thing. So even if we have an empty room and we will just work with local tattoo artists from New York, for example, and not internationals, we will, of course, the social distancing, everything you want to do, but by contract, we have those 3 floors
You still
super
gotta pay.
expensive.
Yeah, bro.
So that will be, for us, it will not be the best scenario to actually happen this year. Also because many people maybe don't want to go. Period.
Yeah, that's gonna be the hard part.
Yeah.
But we also believe the best is for next year, because we as a promoter, we don't, even if it's this is for us will be a convention like newer than Durbs and probably you guys. is being slowly increasing. The amount of people in the first year for us was a loss, and now we are starting to break even and make a profit. But
And then the pandemic comes.
And then fucking life got canceled.
exactly.
Yeah.
So we
But
actually not too thrilled to have the news that they will allow us to by law, like the event can happen. But as I said, I think it's we will have to. We are looking for options. I don't think it's gonna happen. To be honest, 100%. I don't think it's gonna be allowed. We will.
but I have a question for you. Sorry, but events in New York right now, are they banned or not?
They're banned right now. Yes, yes.
They're banned. Okay. Then is there any timeline until
Like
when is that the case?
no, because every state is have their own rules. Florida, that I'm right now, and New York have a completely different rules. Even inside of the same state, we have a different rules. For example, I was up north this weekend, and the beaches are open, but in the beach who I have right here is not open. Same with tattoo shops, same with restaurants. Most of the state is pretty much with the social distancing and new rules when you get into any public place like a grocery store or a restaurant or barbershops that are open now here. But in my exact location, tattoo shops and we don't have any clue specific when it's going to be able to be open or not. At the same time, some of the tattoo shops are already getting into the field of the saloon, for example, like the barbershop, saloon, and beauty and stuff like that. Some of the tattoo shops are already like
I've heard of
going
that.
inside
Yeah,
of the same.
barber shops with tattooing in it.
Yeah,
It's the
exactly.
same, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Back in the
Loophole.
in the days, that's how it was. So many tattoo shops are open in Florida now already, and it seems like legally or by the authorities is not a problem either. It's more about
Yeah.
like recommendation than they will shut down your shop. Like actually they allowed you to open. I was up north, and all the tattoo shops were open, and it was no problem. Also, talking about the conventions back, in difference of the tattoo shop that are completely different amount of people who's gonna be going to one room. We were thinking different options. What Durb said, like having one booth,
Space.
have the space, so that will be half of the of the.
It's one of the only ways.
But
But that also means you're gonna have like half of the artists,
half
Yeah.
of the artists, exactly.
or you're gonna have like a bigger space because I
And
mean
also
that means
maybe they allowed us just to get amount of crowd of people to visit at the time. Maybe one go out and one get in.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
it's gonna be a
exactly.
big line. It's many, depending on the square feet probably of the convention. It's gonna be the amount of people they're gonna allow us to have them go in.
The aisles will be one direction, so you're not passing by people. It'll be things like that.
not
Like
crossing each
conventions will
other.
have to have a flow. Yeah.
Like IKEA, like IKEA.
like yeah, you get in
Right,
and you get out.
exactly.
That's it.
Yeah, for real. Even the grocery stores are doing that. Just that way, you're not walking right by people. So
Yeah.
I could see conventions that being one of the things. Is
But
just one direction.
one of the, sorry to interrupt. Here in America, most of the conventions are in an open booth with fabric and half of the body cover. Pipe and drape. But the type of booths Barcelona convention have is one of the most.
Yeah.
I think is going to be the future for the two conventions to
The standard.
yes, it's going to be the standard
Not
because
really.
it's
Not
close,
really.
no?
Not really, because we have the same building material for the stands, but without glass in front. Because the idea is nice, but when the roof is open, there is no hygienic. So there is no half hygienic or half virgin.
That's true.
It's but one important point regarding conventions, it's not the distance, it's not the ISL, it's the air conditioning, it's the how do you arrive to the convention, and how do you go out, smoking outside, elevators. How many people in one elevator? You don't know who was there before you.
Yep.
So what is the distance between two artists? We still have long time to go for that.
Mm-hmm.
It's first to learn and to hear more what is really happening, and with figures, because Europe it's different, but the States everything is elevators. You have to touch in the
Everything.
traps, shopping, going to eat. So I think a little bit patient, and we'll see. Let's keep the time till 21 to ourselves to learn to do better, and then we can see not just what the government is asking, but how we can do better. Because sometimes the government is asking funny things, and anyhow you are going 5 steps ahead of them.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree. Sorry to interrupt. And I think also in different governments, like I'm from South America, and I've been attending South American convention for many years. And for example, the regulations in Europe are very strict.
Yeah.
When I go there, they're super strict, like Spain and all these materials at the tattoo conventions and tattoo shops.
Italy as well.
Italy as well. In America, it's not as Durb, right? We can use the pipe and drape with fabric and everything. In Europe, you cannot use. You need to be something washable.
The European shows, other countries have it labeled.
Yeah,
makes more sense.
So speaking of other countries, sorry, when you're done, Anne, I'd love to hear about what's going on in the Philippines too.
Yes. I want to bring in.
I'm very interested in, I'm very new to this, so I give all my respect to all you guys. You've been in the industry for quite some time, a lot of years. So in the Philippines now, is it still on or pending? We are really looking into it. We really haven't announced anything whether yet to cancel or put through, since we are also looking into other options, like maybe go like what you said earlier, Stefano and Durb, limiting the crowd, limiting the artist, which I don't know if it's a good idea. It will be, where's the essence of the convention if we don't have crowd? We can no longer hug each other. We could no longer even handshake. So where's the essence of the convention if it will be boring the term is very boring. So we are looking into other options, since our event is not until October, so we didn't really announce anything yet. But considering the situation, 80% of me is saying to cancel, since the main priority right now is the safety of everyone. So
The situation, as far as we know, it's not that bad officially regarding the virus. I mean, it seems to be pretty well contained so far.
Yeah, but like in Montreal, the economy is paralyzed. We are not.
Sorry, I think your voice is cracking a little bit. You guys can hear it clearly, or?
And you have somebody in the background?
And there is somebody in the background as well,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm in the room, so I'm sure I'm safe. My kids are asleep already, so I don't know.
There is somebody having some noise in the background.
I'm by myself. Here's very early in the morning.
I want to chime in on something that Ann said too. Is like, yeah, how are these conventions going to feel without the camaraderie of your artists and stuff like that? And I think Guy Aitchison asked me the other day. He goes, "What's the thing that you're missing the most about tattooing?" And I said the spirit of tattooing.
Of course.
Yes,
Because the spirit is the
exactly.
camaraderie, it's the conventions, it's the tattoo family, it's this stuff, So I missed
Yes,
the spirit of
And
tattoo.
and because we are in a third world, especially we're in a third world country, we're in a situation where we have very little options, compared to other countries. And though we have some cases, but my mind telling me I wanna prove, because it's not until October. But safety of everyone is I don't know where's the but you are right there. Yeah, the spirit won't be the same.
No, not for a while. It's going to feel really good though. Think of the moment when they're like, all right, there's a vaccine or whatever. That feeling is going to fucking be amazing. Just to not have that fear, to get back on with this life in general.
Not directly, because the fear is that everyone pushing vaccine now is for the money and not because the vaccine is working.
It's same as the flu vaccine,
So
like,
we need to wait. Time will heal. Time will help.
Exactly.
I think we shouldn't count on a vaccine at all. I mean, these people coming with a. Sorry, tell me.
No. The same as a Canada vaccine. I think is I don't think it's gonna go anyway. Us as a promoter, I think we need to think about regulations for the rest of probably our lives. This is gonna be the new flu. It's gonna be just strong
forever now.
Because even if you had a vaccine, you're gonna have the flu season next year anyway. You're gonna have the COVID next year. Even if everybody's vaccinated, and the flu never went away, and it's never gonna go away. Vaccine,
but with this virus there is a problem, and this is something which I would like to tell, because we've been bombarded with a lot of very conflicting information from the media, and also regarding the possibility of a virus of a vaccine. Now, if you read the medical journals, vaccines normally take anywhere between 10 to 15 years to be developed.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And for the coronaviruses, they never ever found any vaccines for any of the strains.
Exactly.
So the narrative that we may have a vaccine within a year, 2 years or something, it's based on nothing. There is no evidence that's ever gonna happen.
Wishful thinking, though.
And
I don't think we will be focusing on the vaccine, because it's not until next year. We really don't know when. So we have to adapt with the new normal now. The new normal will be like tattoo artists will be wearing N95 mask whatsoever. And maybe I also want to raise this to everyone. If it also if you consider it like, is the new normal wearing a tattoo artist wearing PPEs? Would you agree? Like,
I was just going to talk about that.
In Italy,
that's the new human face.
Yeah, it sounds crazy, but I think this is one of like the PPEs, like the suits. Are we going to train ourselves with the help, of course, of medical experts on how to properly, wear and remove PPEs? Because it's easy to look at, but it's actually not easy. So the common cause why some healthcare workers get infected, because they don't know how to wear and remove them properly.
Exactly.
Maybe we should also do training of that, and it would be cool if we could make designs for PPEs for tattoo artists to look cool, even while
that's next. I can literally see the industry digging into specific wear for the tattoo artist.
Yes.
And what I was talking about earlier in the what I was going to say about South America, and I was making the comparison between Europe and then the United States of America and then South America. In South America, it's not even regulation for tattoo shops yet. Like in some countries, for example, Brazil is one of the most regulated. But for example, where I'm from, and from my experience, they have no idea about tattoo any regulations. Like they don't ask you for anything.
You have no rules at
Yeah.
all. in Peru.
Same here in the Philippines.
We
actually.
have the regulations I have in here in the United States, because I have guest artists from all over the world, and we were taking all cross contamination. Everything is in the highest standards. My shop personally, but my neighbor
Exactly.
be however they want, in conventions too. So
Damn.
Yes.
that's what we are actually going to give the example how to make a tattoo convention safely. But in another countries where it's no regulations,
No regulation.
it's going to be exactly the same as before, and it's nothing we can do about it, because the government, they don't even know what to say yes or no, so they don't even.
Exactly. I can relate to that because here in the Philippines, even tattoo shops, they don't know where we belong. Like there's no category
Yeah.
of us. So when we write down for our business meets, we don't see any tattoo shop. No, so it's the
But
same
there's also still a lot of
here.
European countries.
Yes.
Like even Italy doesn't really have like a real category for tattoo artists, or even Holland is problematic. And I think it's also
The
true
same
that
with India.
the United States has a lot older history in terms of tattoo shops. You guys have some of the very oldest tattoo shops on the planet, and everywhere else it came a little bit later, especially country as in South America or in the Philippines or even in India. I don't know.
Yeah.
Samir, how old is the oldest tattoo shop in India, for example? You guys have a long history in tattooing, but not professional tattooing. I mean, not the way
that's
we
true.
mean it right now. With
Right.
all the
So
respect, for
yeah,
tattooing
my
in India.
shop's been there since 2008. So and I haven't seen much change in 2008. We still don't know where to categorize ourselves. We are really pushing hard for the government for the authorities to actually step in and give us a category and make sure that the hygiene norms and things fall into place. But it still doesn't seem that they're interested, because I just don't think for them it's the money making industry that they should be looking into. For them, it's still something.
So you're not recognized as well as an
yeah, it's not.
If you
Right.
really think about it, it's not a. They have two sides. It's a good thing and a bad thing, because
It is.
sure.
I was about to say that.
Well, that's where it's up to the tattoo artist to regulate themselves.
Yeah,
and
once
keep it safe.
the
Yeah.
government get involved and see the money they can make and whatever,
Yep.
tattoo industry is not free anymore, and they try to have some kind of we're seeing
You
that
just said it.
countries of what is monopoly of companies who get in with the government, so don't allow another companies to get in or to sell inks or to sell any products. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
In a way,
Which way would you like to
it
keep
is a
it?
great thing. But also when you look at hygiene standards, it's kind of because
Yes.
there is no a body that's governing it. You have tattoo shops mushrooming up every now and then, and the hygiene standards are,
That's
just go off the
why
roof.
I organized Savage Inc. for the Filipinos to know what are the international standards, because I've been traveling with you, Alex. For instance, there are a lot of things that they don't know. So I wanted to bring it in the Philippines, but COVID stopped it. I hope this year, or I don't know when.
Yeah, well, maybe hopefully next year. And by the way, it's surprising. I'm always surprised by what you see at tattoo conventions, especially in Asia, because you see the level of some of the tattoo artists is like absolutely amazing. But then sometimes they lack, like the basic skills for, what you would say.
Sterility.
Yeah, exactly. But like on a technical level, they're incredible. So to me, that's always like
Thank you.
interesting to see. So
Very
yeah.
proud of them.
Yeah, you have. I mean, like, especially from the Philippines, there's a lot of these new guys coming out. It's crazy.
So that's what made me do Savage Inc. because there are a lot of Filipino tattoo artists very good at it, and because we are not very capable to go abroad, it's not easy for us Filipinos to get visas Like
Yeah.
me myself, I want to go to Gideon. You know about that, Alex, but it's so
Yeah.
difficult for Filipinos to go. So I wanted it to be the opposite, then bring like you guys here in our country. So that's the only choice. You know, we don't have that much financial capacity to do it, like how to travel abroad. You know.
Yep.
Mhm.
So guys, so you all agree that basically this year there should not be any tattoo conventions or something
I
anywhere
agree.
in under any conditions, or do you think is there any way that somehow something could still go on under some conditions? I don't know what would that be, but I mean, if you take away the fun from conventions and
Yeah, I
because
think
it's
as
too much like a hospital, then
I think as convention promoters, it's our duty right now to kind of be the example to other people that may be doing either smaller shows or whatever, just shows
Yeah.
around the world.
exactly.
We are the
exactly.
example of like, hey, we put on big ass shows, but we feel it's right to cancel them for the health of our
Right.
artists, our community, and the public. And these are times that we can all make tattooing look the best it can by taking the right measures. We can all make it look real bad too if we just I'm doing my convention. I've seen some people here in Ohio open their studios before it was even like legal, and then they did it to like probably for the fucking media aspect of it or whatever. But then they're getting carried away in handcuffs because they broke the fucking law. And I'm like, yeah, you did really good for tattooing there, buddy. You know, so
yeah, you're ruining it for everyone.
it's clowns like that right now that are being impatient and stuff like that. We got to be patient. We don't know what the fuck's up with this virus. We actually don't know all the transmission and what it does, if it's going to mutate. Who knows? But right now, it's our duty as some of the top convention promoters in the world to set the example and be like, it's okay to take it. You can take a year off. Work on internally, work on your show. So when you're coming back, just like I told tattoo studios, prepare now for when you can reopen. Prepare now. How are you going to make your show better? What steps are we going to take? And just work on it from there. Start building it.
Durb and Alex and all you guys. I would like to ask you guys one thing, that even if we come back tomorrow, as in the next year, what are the things that we need to assure the artists as well as the people who are going to be walking into our doors regarding safety and regarding what are the measures that we need to take?
Time will
what
say.
do we need to assure them?
No one knows.
Is there anything?
True, nobody knows.
Right.
Yeah, this is a tough question. This is probably what everybody's wondering about. I think on the long term, what's going to happen probably it's like, although it's not possible to have vaccine on a short term, but I think what we probably will get better is like to get better treatments. So people who get sick probably won't die anymore, or at least not that easily. So the way I see it is, we should try to live with this virus like we did like in the past, like with HIV. I mean, HIV, there's still no vaccine for it, but it could be treated. People are still not dying as they used to. And probably this will become just a new normal. Once the hospital, they will learn how to deal with that. I mean, this year they were like all shocked by this. But probably next year, they're probably going to be able to do better treatments. And yeah, so the situation, I'm very optimistic in that perspective because I think, okay, if this curve is going to flatten and the hospitals are going to be able to better deal with what's going on, then I think we could go back to normal as early as next year, hopefully. If not, then okay, we'll skip 2021 as well. But I think every year we're going to get, we're still going to get better and better prepared to be confronted with this virus.
I'll tell you what, a year could go pretty fast too. It could be
fast.
over with before we know it. A lot of it's going to be patience at this point.
I mean, we're now 5 months in, and I remember last time the last convention I did was in Milano, and I was, that was the period that it was really exploding everywhere, and I was traveling. I remember traveling from Asia to Milano. I was like, shit, for me the scary part was these long flights, being trapped with some. At the moment, China was the epicenter of the pandemic, and behind me I had a few Chinese guys coughing all the time, and I was like really, really terrified. But
I'm nervous even to cough anywhere now.
Yeah, that was scary, man. But yeah, so I was in Milano, and I was, and I thought, what's going to happen with a show like Milano, which is, in Italy, is one of the most important shows. And I was surprised still by how busy it was, and then like a month
Because
later.
the news, Alex, the news and the
Huh?
information was not like we have it now.
Yeah.
Because
No,
I went,
exactly. No, the
after
situation was
seeing
bad
you-
in Asia, not in
after
Europe,
seeing-
not yet.
After seeing you in Milan, I went to Detroit, and then I went to Buenos Aires. If I had the information that I have now, you wouldn't see me. So,
Exactly. That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah, Detroit was
this
my
is
last one.
the information that is coming out.
Yes. No, that
And
plays a
you've
very
seen
big
that
role. Yeah.
Rome was canceling and also moving. They were also surprised.
Yes,
from
the first postponed actually to October.
Yeah.
Officially still in October as well.
No, yeah.
Officially.
Paris and Rome. But still,
Yes.
there is no news in Europe. So everyone is trying now to play safe. And I think that 21 is a good option. We will know more what is happening and what we can do to play safe.
Yeah, I think we only the future forward mindset. It's like to survive the crisis, rather than to squeeze our hands in despair and fear. I think this is actually the best opportunity that we can this challenging time to prepare for our future of opportunity, and to I think it's best for everyone to forge close relationships with each other, like fellow tattoo artists, customers, members, partners, whoever. I think this is the perfect time that we have to think as one.
Definitely.
Well, a lot of work, collaboration, and probably be healthy. Like in the industry, also like between events from different countries. There's a lot, again, I think that we could learn from each other.
Yeah.
And again, like you guys' example,
Like you guys.
Yeah. So, and this is why we're having this panel today. Which I consider to be like very important given the situation. Again, there's a lot of insecurity in the market. There's a lot of people which don't really know what to do. I see a lot of convention like really being literally frozen in what to do next. You see them, okay, there are conventions coming in 1 or 2 months, and they're not posting anything. They're not communicating anything.
Yes.
And a lot of people ask me like, hey, is this convention still on? I say, well, I don't know. So if some organizers are listening right now, what I would really suggest everyone is to do like Gideon did. He opened like a communication now with his audience and really keep everyone informed. Also ask what you guys think really is best to do. I think that could play a very big role to feel the mood, at least of your country, because every situation is different. In some countries, I may believe some people want to go back to normal as soon as possible, and some others want to play a little bit more safe. It's also a cultural thing, But yeah, my take is like be transparent with what's going on.
Exactly.
Your convention these days. This is what I'm missing a little bit. This is why I'm saying that. From outside.
I do want to butt in and just kind of talk a little bit about the Tattoo Art Expo that Guy and Rob are hosting. It was scheduled for October, but what we're deciding to do is to take the October show virtual and have a real world show. Next July will be month mates with New York, the 9th to the 11th. But what we'll do for this year to kind of keep the momentum going, and guys always thinking of the future already, and a lot of the events we've already webcast. So the goal is to do small virtual events, something like this, 2 or 3 of these panels scheduled, seminars, webcams into people's tattoo studios. And we'll do smaller versions once a month leading up until October, and then we're going to throw a really big virtual tattoo convention as a way to kind of keep the community together, and it's so important for as Durb was saying, we all get together once or twice a month in all these amazing places around the world. That not going to be able to happen. So to help alleviate some of the, I don't know, the missing of that, or to help it happen. Again, it's guys going to help facilitate online events, which is, obviously you can't tattoo online, but we could talk together online. We could drink together online. We could, show off our tattoos together.
That's literally the only way to have a convention right now.
So that's the future of the conventions right now. Online conventions.
Say it again.
That's the future of tattoo conventions there right now. I mean,
for now.
Yeah.
It's like a, I think it's a future for many different also events, like musicians or theaters or I have a friend who just sent me the link actually last night for his magic show online, and you can buy the tickets there. It's live, it's not recorded, so you can buy the ticket, watch the show in your TV, or on the website on your laptop or with your phone, and you see the show live. That's maybe the beauty of live events, that if you don't see them live and you don't pay a ticket, you miss it.
Yes.
That's when it happened. Even when it happened maybe with concerts, like you can see live from all over the world, maybe just like a small studio for a band, but if you have it recorded, you can see on YouTube afterwards. It's no point, because you will not pay for it. But if you just live and have a protection, so you cannot see it anymore, just once, that will be the new way of events.
God, thank God we have digital technology during all of this. Like, honestly, think we didn't have these.
In India, we already had a concert that happened like that. There were like six musicians sitting in their individual houses, and they performed on Facebook and on Zoom, and they collected close to about 50,000 USD.
Damn.
And
for an online event.
Yeah, that's on an online event. Yeah.
Shit, when we throw in a concert,
more profitable than real events.
Yeah, we
like before. Being
sorry?
online tattoo. We talked about that before. Is it to do an online thing? But it's difficult, especially to judge.
I'm sorry, guys. I hear a lot of
Somebody doing
noise.
There's something in the background.
Yes. Yeah, it looks like somebody washing dishes or something.
Yes.
I heard a fork and a knife.
Yes,
guys.
somebody eating in the background. I don't know.
Somebody put on the laundry.
But so, just for the sake of a shameless plug, but also I believe I have in the schedule a discussion panel like this, hopefully with Alex, about tattoo conventions.
Awesome.
May 25th and 26th is going to be the first virtual tattoo conference. You can go to virtualtattooconference.com and check out the lineup. We've got 4 seminars. We've got discussion panels. We'll do a drink and draw. Sean Barber is going to do a painting exercise with people, so everyone's going to be painting at home and following his lead. And yeah, like I said, hopefully we'll have another convention panel there too.
I have a quick question.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. I'm actually thinking about something, because for example, like both Durb and Gabe, you guys are always like very busy with educational events, whatever is that, online or offline. And I think this could be also a good opportunity this year, maybe, to set up something like in that perspective, like more educational, with the aim of create some kind of world standards in tattooing that could get us out of this shit, maybe earlier than what we could expect.
I think the powers that be are
really throwing ideas, but I don't know. I'm very keen on the fact that our community is like an international community, and events always played a very, very big, huge role into tattooing. For me, my perspective, they have a massive impact on the tattoo culture. If there would not be events, I don't think the tattoo culture would have become so big at the end of the day. Yes, you have media. Yes, you have social media, stuff like that. But without events, you would miss the core of the tattoo culture.
It's the core of the industry.
Yeah. So you want to keep that going, but probably that in different forms.
Yeah. What Gideon was saying earlier, the goal of the tattoo conventions is to have fun, and it's they're very expensive
To
events.
learn.
Like when you get thousands of people together, if it's not fun, why are we doing it? And so if all of a sudden we have to figure out whether it'll still be fun if we could have to be distance, can't talk to each other. There's no walk-ins at a tattoo convention.
Just throw some alcohol in there. We'll have fun.
All right, guys. You guys have any other things that you would like to discuss? I mean, I
have a question. I have a question about the online conference, because it's not a convention, or it's a conference, Gabe?
We're going to be doing conferences each month, the last week of the month, or 2 days at the last week of the month. That'll be more conference style. So we'll have 4 headlining seminars. We'll do some discussion panels. And we will be beaming into people's studios. So people are tattooing, they can scroll through the virtual exhibition hall or ballroom, click on, Stefano's tattoo, boom. Now they're looking at the camera that's at your studio, either in Florida or in Peru. People can interact. Hey, I'm interested in a tattoo. How do I do this? Maybe boop, boop. Now you have a video conference with some of the attendees. And then the conferences that we're doing are basically going to be both technical tests and format tests. Try to get fucking YouTube to work without 10 minutes of fucking with it. So that by the time we get to October, we could do 120. Basically the ballroom is going to mimic a real world ballroom. So it's 120 of the handpicked artists by Guy and a crew. And full seminar schedule, full stage schedule. We'll have the bar area where people can hang out and network. And we have to do them on a smaller scale because the technology is not trivial. It's pretty fun for me. For the last 3 weeks, I've been demoing all of the high-end virtual event software that everyone could dig into. And,
so you're literally building it, basically, this kind of platform.
Well, I'm building the first version for the end of this month, maybe for the end of next month. But then we're going to be, purchasing some software that does it at scale. So I can make it happen and make it happen smoothish. But we're going to have to invest, into some serious technology. But it's pretty amazing, right? So a lot of these technologies are designed to create, online experiences for 10,000, 20,000 people.
Right.
And
at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That must be very good technology.
As a computer geek who's been webcasting for years and doing events for over a decade, I mean, it literally is some of the most techie stuff you can get to help people interact with each other online. And
so what you're telling me, Gabe, is you're going to make Hell City happen in August, right? That's all I want to hear.
Well, first of all, we got to pull off October 1st. But honestly, as we get this together, we would love to be able to help tattoo conventions, bring together, maybe some of the headliners to do stuff to keep the momentum going. Because, I mean, we have our one event, but as we're all aware, this is all about sharing. So once we can figure this out, the goal will be to help other event promoters utilize the technologies. And now I don't know if everyone wants to spend, the same price tag, because some of this shit's pretty fucking expensive. But on the other hand, we want to try to help facilitate it. So the answer to that is maybe a small little, maybe our August conference is Hill City themed.
Yeah, let's talk.
Because the difference with
cool. I mean, it would also keep, as you say, the community together, and that's I think a very important thing.
Yeah. It might be worth doing.
We don't really have other ways to do it right now. I mean, we're all stuck in our places. We can't travel. We can't go anywhere.
Exactly. Even if you did something like, even if you did something like in a short increment online every day of your convention, whether it's just a couple artists at home working like you're talking about, Gabe,
yeah,
it would at least give people something to look forward to that weekend when they know they're missing the convention.
for sure.
I'm very curious to see it.
Great idea.
So here we have it, man. The
Well,
future of
I've
tattoo.
got 10 days
online.
to get the first test going.
All right, guys. Well, I think this is it for today. I mean, my idea was just to start the conversation on tattoo conventions and what's going to happen next. I think we got to start. We see what's going to happen in the next few weeks and months, and hopefully, at least me and Gabe would like to have a panel every week or every month or anyhow, like on a regular,
In
regular time. And yeah, sorry.
I don't want to usurp your closing, but I think it would be pretty cool if everybody went through and talked about the first tattoo convention they attended. Maybe leave on a nostalgic note.
Oh, that would be cool. Yes. Okay, go ahead, guys. Who's gonna start?
Yeah, Jesus.
Gideon, what's the first one?
The fairs are organized.
No, the first one you
you-
attended.
I
Yes.
think
attend.
the first organized was 16 or 18 years ago, Assen.
Assen, yeah.
Just a moment, everyone is listening now. Alex,
Yes.
your first visited tattoo convention ever was
Ever.
Assen.
In
Was a
Holland,
nice
yes.
convention. Yeah.
That was in Holland, but I went to
You
one
were-
in Italy. I went to the
you
first
were
tattoo
green.
convention ever in Rome.
You were green
1993.
behind your ears.
Sorry?
You were
What?
green behind your ears.
Green.
Green behind your ears. Yeah. Yeah.
Is-
Assen,
what does it mean?
about 12 or 14 years ago, Alex.
Yes, and I remember that. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
for me but that was the time already going at shows. But yeah, no, for me was the first one ever was in Italy, man, in 1993, which was it has been a one-off event by one guy, which actually met again only a year ago or something. I never understood who made the first event in Rome, because then Rome has been taken over by Paolo.
Yeah.
But there was another guy who did it before, and that was the first event I ever went, 1993. A new world opening for me,
Yeah.
very big fascination. And for me, events were the only way I could really hang out with some tattooed people, because I didn't know anybody who had tattoos at the time. So, and who even liked tattoos. It's crazy to think about that, but 25, 30 years ago, that was the situation in Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah, my first show was, I think, 29 years ago, 1991. It was a Easy Rider bike and tattoo show. So I got introduced to some of the wildest motherfuckers I'd ever met, as a combination. Yeah. And that's what started it all. 1991, I was tattooing for a guy, Tim Miller, who learned from Marty Holcomb. I didn't know what to expect. I was still fresh into tattooing. And yeah, it was pretty amazing, though, because that's some of the people, no shit, some of the people I met back then, I'm still friends with, and that's how
There you go. That's cool.
tight the tattoo family is,
Yeah.
But yeah, 1991.
1991. There you go. So, I guess
my
that's
first
2 years
tattoo
later. Oh,
my
but
first
yeah.
tattoo convention was I was an attendee, and I was before I opened my first tattoo shop. It was in 98. It was the South Florida Tattoo Expo.
Oh, South Florida one. Yeah, that's a pretty old one as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. And I just went to buy supplies and go back to Peru, actually.
Go back to get some American stuff.
Man, it was not industry. It was not nowhere to buy anything in Peru.
Yeah.
How's the situation now? I hope a lot better, right?
Yeah, a lot better. Yeah, now it's maybe like 3 important tattoo suppliers in Peru, so you can find anything now.
All right.
Yeah, more expensive though, but you can find it.
More expensive.
Yeah.
How about you, Samir? What's the first convention you ever went to?
Look, I feel like a newborn compared to all these guys, man.
Yeah, you're a lot younger. We're old.
I think the first convention that I went to was the one in 2010 in Singapore. The first ever Singapore convention that happened. Also because that was like the nearest place that I could actually visit from India.
Yeah.
And India being at a very nascent stage of tattooing back then. Even now it is, but back then it was way behind anybody. So it was just something that I wanted to. I was also planning a convention so that I could expose people to what tattoo gatherings are all about. So it was, for me, it was a learning curve. For me, it was like a homework that I was doing to go and see what a convention actually looks like, to bring in the, the actual, the kind of things that need to be regulated in the right way.
Hey,
Things like
Samir, but
those.
by the way, what's the first convention you ever had in India? What year was it? You know
The
that?
convention that it was my convention that happened in 2011. It was
That was the first one.
Yeah, that was the first one. It was along with one of the biggest music festivals that happens in India. So we
Wow.
kind of collaborated. They were my friends, so we collaborated and we had this convention. And oh man, it was a riot. It had like some 20,000 odd people over 3 days at the music festival, and we had like a downpour of about say 1,000 people attending, 2,000 people attending, and like for the first convention ever.
That's a good start.
Like 2,000
So
people.
you visited the first convention in 2010, and in 2011 you decided to do one.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a good, you're working fast, man. How about you, Anne?
Yeah, being a tattoo artist myself, I've started 2011, and there are actually three that are most memorable to me. The first was a small competition in one of our islands here in the Philippines. It was my first ever to join a competition, and I barely don't have inks back then, because there were only very few years here in the Philippines, and until now there are not so much. So it's very difficult. So one of the artists, I had to share with you guys because of the experience. One of the artists behind me just gave me inks because I don't have
We just missed that last sentence. I think you might have been moving around too much.
Oh no. One of the artists or the participants was looking at me and was asking me, do you need anything? Because I barely have inks with me, and yeah, he was giving me this ink, and it was, I think, Tinatuhay. It's in our dialect. And second is the first in 2012, which is Dutan. I think you know about this, Alex, in Manila.
Yeah, the Dutan,
Yeah,
that's been going on for a long time as well, right?
Yeah, 2012. That was my first ever. I was really shocked when arriving there, and it was also my first time to go in Manila. You know, I'm from Philippines, but it's difficult back then to fly. It's expensive, you know. And my first, I mean, my third memorable was in Sabah Tattoo Convention. That was my first time abroad. Sabah Tattoo International.
Malaysia.
It's in Malaysia, and yeah, that was memorable because I had a lot of hardships getting my passport. You know, in Philippines it's very difficult, and then arriving there, it's overwhelming. You know, that's the first time I've ever seen a real, you know, convention where you have to talk to each other, friends, not a competition. You know, that's what motivated us to do Savage Ink because of that moment. And then I met you, Alex, in Vietnam, Thailand, taken or Vietnam? Yeah, Vietnam.
I think Vietnam, yeah.
Yeah, Vietnam, and that even made me more, you know, motivated to do Savage Ink. So yeah, that's 3.
I'm glad you did. That was a very good convention, by the way. So I really enjoyed it. So I hope it's gonna happen again next year.
Thank you so much.
How
you
about
guys
you,
could also come.
Sorry?
I hope everyone, like, I'm looking at these wonderful people in the tattoo industry, and you know, meeting them personally would be an honor, you know.
Okay, guys, so you're all invited to the
Likewise.
Philippines next year. Definitely. And Gabe, how about you? Since you're one of the
Let's see, it was
oldest
93 or 4-ish. It was the Am Jam tattoo show.
Am Jam.
Am Jam, Schenectady, New York. If you look up on YouTube, Am Jam tattoo show, you'll get some videos of we heard Guy and Paul Booth were at the show,
Wow.
but they ended up there like a year later. But the first real show, not real show, Am Jam was a real show, but the first show that really impressed the hell out of me was, you know, the second year at Hell City. And you know, everyone came back from the first year was like, it's a different paradigm. And then yeah, I remember we set up a big tiki mask, but the point was you know, the eye for detail that Durb had really set the bar, and it's pretty fun. Still does.
Hey, Durb, but how long have you been doing conventions already? How many years?
Yeah, I wanted to ask.
Have I been putting on organizing conventions? The first Hell City was 2002. But funny story, even before that, when I pitched it to the Hyatt Regency, before tattooing was on television or glamorized anywhere, fashionable, any of that shit, I pitched it to the Hyatt Regency, and they denied it. It sat for probably 3 years. And then a lady, Valerie Gillespie, reached out, and she's like, hey, I'm new here at the Hyatt. I'm looking through, you know, old conventions that have been presented to us, and we have an interest in your show. Are you still thinking about doing it? And I was like, I had personally been still writing notes and trying to do different. I mean, everybody's got to admit, when it came to Hell City, it was a different feeling show. It was more visuals, artistic looking, the artist caliber is high, things like that. I had been working on it for years. Even after the Hyatt said no, I still had intentions of doing it from attending so many other conventions. And then they came back, and so 2002 was the first opportunity I had to really, you know, show what I wanted to do, and it just kept growing.
I think that's a great point for future convention promoters to understand. I did the same thing with Paradise. Like, the idea was formulating. I remember I talked to you a bit about it.
Yep.
And then I realized, oh shit, I have to do this before I had a venue. And it took me probably 8 months to a year to find the venue. You know, I looked at everything around in the area. And I think I was doing alpine slides with my daughter at a ski resort. And the attendee or the workers kept talking about how there was a biker convention here last weekend. Biker convention. I'm like, I love motorcycles and all, but I'm a tattoo guy, not really a biker guy. I mean, I biked around the country. I fucking love the culture, but you know, tattooing and biking, while they have a shared culture, like snobby tattooing is. Anyway, point being, I was like, why do you keep telling me about this bike show? I don't care. And all of a sudden, the fourth or fifth time, I was like, how many bikers? 1,000? Oh, maybe we could do 1,000 tattoo fans here, right? So it's really important that you have the patience to find the right venues for your shows, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, definitely. That's important.
But that plays a big role. I mean, a huge role into, for example, Gideon, you did this event in Essen, and that was a really nice location. I still remember that for your show, right? It was a very particular one. I got lost, guys.
Also, from here on out,
getting into the history of tattoo conventions right now, which is very interesting as well. I mean,
I think the point you're trying to make is that, like Gabe said, the venues are a huge thing. Like, don't put it on in some little shitty, little tiny hotel ballroom. Like, represent tattooing the best you can.
In a proper way.
Yeah, artistically, everything. Because the way I look at it, man, I've done. One of the things that I put so much different shit into Hell City when it first came out is I had traveled to so many conventions, you know, since I was 18 years old, and seeing shortcomings of people that weren't really people that were just throwing a table onto their main stage and being like, yep, that's our main stage. You know, just lack of effort, lack of artistic vision with the show. And if you're bringing somebody into like an artistic event and you do minimal effort to make it look visually appealing to people, like those shows are yesterday. You know,
those are the basics, right?
Yeah. So right now it's, you know, I mean, with all this going on, I don't want to say it's going to thin the herd, you know, studio wise and convention wise, but I think that the conventions and the studios that go from here on are the ones that are going to take those extra steps to be different, you know, or visually, you know, appealing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this period is probably like an opportunity for anyone to improve what they're doing, and the one who can't keep up, they'll probably be gone. There's gonna be probably a big market correction this year. You know, obviously the most professional one, I believe they're gonna stay. And I was telling also today to Samir, at the end of the day, like I'm still very positive about the future. You know, it can only get better from now on. It can't get worse than that. So I mean,
knock on wood, man.
Yeah, I think we just.
You never know, right? But I mean, I don't believe it can get worse.
This is one of the hardest times for tattooing, you know, almost in the history of tattooing. The other thing is Marty Holcomb. He's an older tattooer that works for me, legendary godfather of tattooing, in Ohio. But he said this reminds him because he had a tattoo through the HIV, epidemic and stuff like that. And he said, what's going on now? He goes, we had a year. He had a whole year where he had 2 tattoo clients.
Wow.
The whole year.
Wow.
He did these amazing bodysuits on them.
Wow.
But that's very similar to what we're dealing with now. But he said that lasted for like a year where nobody was even tattooing. We've been going through this for 2 months. And it feels like forever.
Yeah.
Marty Holcomb's gone through this before, so he's got a very realistic, view of kind of how it can affect tattooing.
That's a very good analogy. I mean, we were discussing also with Samir, like the people which have gone, like the tattoo artists which have been going through the HIV pandemic and they survived that. Now they're going to face something similar with this, although it's like an airborne pandemic or something. But I mean, the older tattoo artists, they're already used to it. They're already prepared.
They've seen this
and this is why I'm very optimistic that we're going to get out of it quite,
Of course.
in a decent time. Maybe another couple of months. I don't know. It's probably going to take a couple of years.
It's going to take a couple of years.
The
main thing is putting in those precautions. And if we do come back to tattoo conventions, those precautions are going to have to just like a big, giant tattoo studio. Everybody walking in the door is going to have masks on and, who knows what. But it'll definitely carry, what we're doing now is going to carry over to when we could do conventions again.
No, the face and behavior on the streets will be like inside the conventions.
Yeah.
And we don't know what will be. Maybe in a few months there is no virus anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the hardest part.
So.
Not knowing.
That's the hardest part, yeah. So far it's a big unknown. But yeah, what do we do? Stay positive, keep working.
The behavior of
this has felt like a little convention. This has been awesome.
Well, it is. Yeah, it is. For me, it is a little bit of a historical moment for me personally, because I could bring together some guys which I always admired for the work, So, to have you here, by the way, all of you, it has been awesome. And I hope we can repeat that in some other perspectives, Again, I just hope that this is the start of something new and something better,
For sure.
I'll drink to that.
And
Always positive, man.
always positive, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Always.
You have to. I mean, at the end of the day, I think like everybody has in the back of the mind like a lot of ideas and a lot of projects that you wanna do, when all of this is gonna end. But it's what it is. Yeah, we gotta deal with it just in the best possible way. Anyhow, guys, if anybody else wants to add anything else?
No, nothing. It's just where are the Avengers when you need them the most?
What's up, sorry?
Where are the Avengers when you need them the most?
All right. Okay. All right.
Holy shit.
That's a good one. Gabe, you have anything else you want to discuss?
All set. I want to thank everybody, and like I said, it's the 26th of May is the next time we'll be doing a lot of these things. So yeah, cooltattooconference.com.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay. Guys, thanks a lot for your time and for talking to you. Awesome.
Happy weekend.
Thank you so
Happy
much.
weekend.
Cool. Wish you guys
All right, guys.
stay safe.
Take care.
Bye.
Thanks for having us.
See you, everyone. Bye.
See you guys. Bye.
See you.
I don't know how to